What's up, everybody? Sean here with Blue Ridge the Hound. And today we're going to talk about yup, you guessed it. Proof sets, mint sets. Oh boy, guys. So if you guys haven't been paying attention to the market, there are some of those evil investors out there that are building a position on proof sets and some mint sets. And today we're going to talk about it and figure out why that's the case, because all the things that you knew as normal 12 to 18 months ago is not so normal anymore. Not just in the world of coins, but just in the world in general. So, yeah, we're going to kind of start to go through this mountain of stuff. Some would say, well, yeah, I remember those. Used to be worth as much as pocket change back in the day, which was pretty much not too long ago. But there are collectors and investors that are building a position of these. And somehow, some way, it just doesn't quite make any sense. Again, no pun intended. Every time I say that. But yeah. The coin market in general is rather robust. And it's interesting because someone had mentioned it. I kept talking about it in my market report videos about, oh yeah, how the market is just pretty good. It's robust. And, you know, there are certain things within this coin market that have taken a huge leap forward. First of all, high-end collector rarities have seen a just stupid jump here in the last 12 months. And then we all know why, because, you know, the whole collectibles market as it is has been generally, what's the word for it? Explosion? Right, yeah, exploded into a big old mushroom cloud. And nothing is immune. Now, this same person also said, well, I have some coins to sell, so what's the supposed market? How come I can't find anyone to buy my coins? Well, it's real simple. You're not looking at the right place. A lot of your big-time transactions, ladies and gentlemen, is done online today. A person I know just bought a really healthy position in proof sets, and I'm going to tell you which ones are kind of like the target among these so-called investors that want just physical assets. And why would they even target this stuff anyways? It's not like I have 1940s proof sets in here anyways. I mean, see, look at that thing. 2005? I mean, come on, who collects that? However, people want what they consider to be the penny stocks of coin investing. This is certainly it. You got to start somewhere. If you don't have the indispensable income to be able to afford a $10,000 rare Lincoln cent, for example, then, you know, you'll take that $100, $500, $1,000, and you'll put it into something that you could have quantity. And I'm happy to say that in proof sets, not only are you getting quantity for the amount of money, but you're also getting quality. I would say it's probably one of the few numismatic items that you could get out there where you have both quantity and quality. And that's why these all of a sudden became a rather attractive investment to add to any portfolio. All right. So let's go ahead and start her off. What aren't people buying and paying more money today for? Okay, it's real simple. Modern mint sets. These things right here have not been targeted as robustly as proof sets. And it's not just any proof sets. We're gonna go and talk about that. Which ones are investors targeting? I'm even beginning to buy more of these because of their relative affordability. Okay, I had mentioned in a few videos back, like, I think I'm done actually buying coins because the market is just way too strong right now, and it's really hard to get rather eye-appealing, rare coins for a decent value. It's really hard. So now I'm looking at alternatives, and I've kind of changed my tune. You know, at first I said, well, I wasn't going to be buying any more coins, but after doing more and more research here in the last week, I have found that, you know what? There is some merit to what people are doing, those low-end investors are doing with proof sets. Okay, and then all of a sudden, I know for a lot of you, you probably don't see the apparent movement in the prices of proof sets, but there are certain proof sets, ladies and gentlemen, that have increased in value 15 to 20% since the beginning of the year. Now, that doesn't seem like a whole lot. If this mid set is worth, say, $6, I mean, what is 20%, right? Another $1 on there? Okay. So, you know, mid sets, especially the clad mid sets with no silver in them, the pre, I guess, like 1971, that's a completely different story all on its own. And we'll touch on that here momentarily, but this is something that not a lot of people are buying in quantity. They might pick some up if these are still sealed. But when they're open like this, and people can just go in and cherry pick the crap out of them, all right, they're not worth so much anymore. All right, I mean, you could totally tell that this particular one right here has been searched through, I would say, at least 20 times. Look at this thing. This thing's beat up, man. I mean, this isn't done by me, of course. I mean, I'm probably the 50th person that has bought this one particular mid set. All right, so the mid sets are of course all of the business strikes, you know, stuff that's made for general circulation, you know. So, you know, the mint at the time, and they still do to this day. I actually have a more modern one somewhere around here. Are putting together these sets, all right, and what you do with them at that point is completely up to you. Like, a lot of people like to take the coins out of the packaging and then put them in an album, you know, to assemble like a modern set. All right, so these mid sets are not being targeted to where, you know, they're going to garner a much more additional premium. See, here's an 87. You guys want to see what that looks like? If I can find it. All right, each one has a Denver and Philadelphia set in them. Here is a uncirculated coin set. This is 50th anniversary 2014, I believe. It was open before. I mean, it's a good looking set, don't get me wrong, but these are NIFCs, not intended for general circulation. So this is normally how you would buy these. You would buy them from the US Mint in either like this, kind of like a souvenir set style program, or you would buy bags of them. And no, do not buy NIFCs in quantity. People are finding those left and right in circulation right now. All right, so let's get into the more attractive investments that these investors, so-called, are buying up. Now, the regular proof sets. Now, what I mean by regular proof sets, anything 1971 and up is being targeted right now. Now, again, they all seem still pretty cheap. If you were to go to, say, you know, eBay and look for some, there's still some for around, you know, under $10, like $8, $9, $10. You're in like Flynn. People are buying up large positions of these at a time, and then when they do that, they get a much more deeper discount. So they're not just buying, say, 1 to 10 sets, all right, off of one seller. What they're doing is they're actually buying like 100 sets. They're buying 200 sets. I actually know of someone that has a position of regular clad proof sets into the thousands. All right. Now, why would you even have that many? You know, it is like a huge lingering question, because these for the longest time, weren't really being seen as kind of a safe investment at all. But these are generally a very attractive presentation. However, when you look at this, I mean, there's a few cherry picking opportunities, like, the 79S Susan B right there can have a clear or a blob S, type 1, type 2 style. All right, so if you find the one with the clear S, okay, those are worth more money. They're worth about $50. But aside from that, yeah, these are being targeted simply for the lower mintages on it, okay? And that's why they're staying away from the actual mint sets, is because those have regular mint set populations. Let me grab my book here. So to give you an idea, that 1979 proof set that we just took a gander at has a total mintage of something. 3,677,175, which if you were to compare that to any one of the business strike coins of the same year, there's a pretty substantial difference. We're talking into the hundreds of millions at that point. But that is just a 79. Here's a 71 right here. Right there in the original blue case. And they'll only buy sets that maybe have been opened, but they're going to buy the original government packaging, whether or not they have the insert in them either. You see that? No frills. I mean, you got a couple cameo coins in here, which was a little bit tougher for, 71. It gets better in a few years. But anyways, that's another one that they're targeting with a low mintage, under 5 million. Here is a 72. 73, and then this is when they transferred over to the handy dandy display, which I'm sure a lot of people in the 70s were actually using, right? There you go. You just sit it down on the, looks good, I guess. But this one has the Eisenhower dollar in it, okay? And you got a few generally nicer deep cameo coins in there, but again, it's still a little bit tougher to find clean examples. Plus, they had that god-awful red velour in there, too. All right, so they're picking up these. Okay, again, mintages under 4 million. But if you could see and imagine, maybe all it takes is about 10 investors to buy these in quantity. And they're going to pick up, like 5,000 sets, 10,000. I mean, we're talking about investors that say have $50,000 to $100,000 to invest into something, okay? They didn't want to try the old Bitcoin cryptocurrency, slap you in the mouth avenue of investing. They wanted to get into something that's tangible and somewhere like low risk, because I doubt that these things would plummet down to face value. We haven't seen that yet. These have held strong in the $8 to $10 region of values. I mean, these things are god-awful cheap. Anyways, because it's another 79. Hey, you can't even close the thing. Man, what a bad idea these cases were. That, and they were a pain to take apart if you needed to take the coins out and put it into an album. All right, so I don't mean to sound entirely too negative on this, but, it's like, yeah, wow, all of a sudden. And the reason why that I'm even doing this video is I was at my LCS. I was actually 2 LCSs last week. And they were selling these things for $15 a piece. I'm like, what in the world just happened? I mean, what is everybody drinking, at the coin dealer front of things? Oh, well, Sean, we've seen an uptick in the purchase of such things, and people are coming in. They don't care if it has no silver. They want to purchase some of these. And we've sold out the last, 10 times that we've gotten proof sets in quantity. Okay, well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. All right, so here's where things get a little bit more interesting. And this is where we're going to see a little bit more larger value increases. Okay, and this is going to be where, that 20% really does make a difference. So if these sets, for example, the 67 SMS set, where, call me crazy, I think I was talking about them 6 months ago, where you could buy them for $6, $7 a piece. Now these things are like 12 to 15 bucks. And that's online. If you went on eBay, okay, there's probably a few that have sold around 9, 10 bucks. If you're lucky, okay, if you're lucky, you still have like the original government packaging. But these things have shot up double in value in just the last 6 months. All right, and these coins, again, if you haven't seen them, they do have a 40% silver half dollar in there. And of course, silver is kind of like the king of cheap metals that you want to invest in. I mean, it's not gold, that's for sure, but yeah, these things are all of a sudden getting some hobby love. Okay, and then now they're getting investor love. All right, so for that 67, we have a mintage. It's actually the lowest mintage out of the 3 years that the U.S. Mint did SMS sets. We have 1,863,344. Wow. Okay, so that is half the mintage of, say, that 1971 that I told you about, or the 79. 71, by the way, 3.2 million. It's actually more than that. I actually rounded down. All right, so it's half. So you can see why investors are going and buying 50 to 100 of these at a time, whatever they could get their hands on, and then just sitting on the position. And then maybe later on, when these things shoot up to, knock on wood, I don't know if it's going to happen, but maybe these things are going to shoot up to like $20, $25 a set. So the investor that has, say, 2,000 of these sets built into a position and they go and sell it all, they're probably not going to get the $25, but you better believe that they're going to get 20 when they originally paid maybe 8 for them. All right, here's another interesting one. We got a number of 68s here. Look at this one with a 40% deep cameo half dollar right there. I mean, that one doesn't have the original holder, but again, along the same lines as the special mint set, this is an attractive look because it's got silver in it. Albeit it's only 40%. It's kind of like the crap ball of silver investing, but to investors, it seems like they think that that's more of a better target to get, all right, because of that. All right, plus more varieties in here. But I also wanted to bring this video up because this is going to be a prelude to some of the things I'm going to talk about here in the next week or so. Like some of the things, because it's not all speculative buyouts that's occurring here. People are also hoarding these things so they could go through them and look for rare varieties. They could look for errors. So we're going to dedicate a few programs here in the next 7 days to both varieties and errors that you can find in these proof sets. You could take a general 1970 San Francisco proof set that you have paid $10 for and you've cherry picked a really nice 70S double to die or a 70S small date, and you could make 50 bucks off that set. You can make $2,000 off that set. Cherry picking the deep cameo coins like that one there. Get them graded. If they come back a really nice high grade with decam, those are coins that sell in excess of $5,000 to $10,000. And I think that people are looking for kind of like that lottery style of pull, and they're getting tired of doing the same old where they either go in and coin roll hunting for the things or buying up BU rolls, which all of a sudden has caught a lot of steam, and a lot of the marquee dates like 72 and 69S are selling for $50 to $100 a roll, where there's literally no justification other than the thrill of the hunt. All right, so we got 70. 70 is always a good one because that's kind of like a semi-key. I know with the business strike, 1970 mint sets, that's a big deal, but because here's 83. They're even scooping those up. 80s and 90s proof sets. They haven't quite touched the statehood quarter proofs. We're seeing a little bit of movement. That's a 72, by the way. We're seeing a little bit of movement on the 90% silver statehood quarters because they're silver. Those particular sets are starting to go up in value too, but they haven't quite hit the targeted buyout focus yet with investors. So these are selling for a good clip. right here. I also wanted to bring up the West Point the West Point nickels and the pennies too. I got one of those here as well. Where's it at? Right here. All right. There are investors that are buying those up in quantity because the mintages are low. You know, they're like less than 500,000. And then we also have original bricks of Proust sets from the early 70s right here. Here's a whole brick of 71s. Take a look at that. 5 of them. They put them in a box. You order 5 of them. That's how they send it in that brick. All right, but I wanted to talk about that. Again, this is kind of like the kickoff video for things that are going to be coming. What are you going to be looking for in these Proust sets? Other than the investor part of it, where, you know, wow, I'm actually paying $10 for a 1971 Proust set. I didn't think that day would be coming, but now, because the game has changed, and then now people are looking at that arbitrage style of opportunity in collectibles, where they're actually going out and they're investing in things like this, hoping to see a 50% increase in value, and then they're going to turn around and flip it and then reap the rewards. But of course, you have to spend a lot of money to get there. You know, you can't do it off of 5 sets. But, you know, you sure as heck can do it with 500 Proust sets, and that's what they're doing. And that's what they're targeting, which is making these things increasingly tougher to find, not only as a unsearched, high-quality Proust set, but also finding them in general to where the containers aren't all beat up. Like, this is a really pristine looking US mid government packaging right here, whereas this one right here looks like it's been opened a dozen times, you know, to do exactly that, to cherry pick for some of those coins and varieties. But anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Yes, the buyout is real. The prices have moved up 20, 15, 20%. And we're going to continue to see kind of like under the radar type growth for these type of things. Now, if you got them to sell, I can tell you this right now. If you're going to sell them in quantity, expect to sell them at a discount, okay, like you normally would. It's like, you know, you could pay full price for 1, but when you go and you buy 10, you actually save 20% off. It's kind of like that. And that's what these investors are doing. They're buying in quantity at a lesser rate, but it's gouging the price of the singular sets if you need to buy one. Where it's kind of a slow way of making money, but just to let you know that this is happening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go ahead and do it. Stay tuned for all of the great Proust set hunting type videos coming up later here in the next week or so. I want to thank you guys for joining in on this video. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge. Coinaholics, we are discovering together. As always, it's a pricing. You guys take care. I'll see you on the next video.